Today I'm going to be reviewing this Tesla Model 3 Performance. I'm going to be comparing it to the long range model and the standard range model. That way, if you're in the buying process, this will make the decision easier for you, or at least make you more informed. Also, this video is sponsored by Charity Stars, and they are giving away a Model 3 Performance. It's going to be brand new, probably a 2023, and with the link in the description, you can get 1,000 extra entries. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Okay, so what's different about the Model 3 Performance compared to the long range and standard range? Let's start with the exterior. The obvious thing is the 20-inch wheels wrapped in performance Pirelli tires. There's also a lower suspension with stiffer springs and red brake calipers, and inside those Brembo brake calipers are sport brake pads. You also have the carbon fiber spoiler in the back that never sits correctly, and you have the red line under dual motor, signifying that this is a performance model. You also have an increased top speed to 162 miles per hour. Now, when we go to the interior of this car, it looks just like every other model. The only thing you'll notice is it has aluminum alloy sport pedals. And when we go into the menus and we go to pedals and steering, you will see that it has track mode. You can go here and customize that, and you can do drift presets, and there's various other things that you can change. And this menu is specific to the Model 3 Performance. You do not get that in the other two models. Now, I find it good and bad that the Model 3 Performance literally has no differences on the inside aesthetically, except for, as I said, the sport pedals being aluminum alloy. Tesla is literally the only car manufacturer that I've ever heard of where the differences are just that subtle. There's no aesthetic differences to the front bumper or additional cooling vents or anything like that. So Tesla is very unique. You think of a BMW 3 Series, the base series looks like this, and the BMW M3 looks like this. Now, there's a significant cost difference between the two, as there is with the Model 3 versus Model 3 Performance. It's just very interesting that Tesla keeps the changes very subtle, mainly coming down to the bigger wheels is the most obvious thing. Additionally, some things that you can't see on the car are 162 mile per hour top speed, and track mode, as I said earlier, gives you various traction settings depending on what you're doing, whether you're drifting or trying to set the best lap time. The first thing I'm going to talk about in this comparison of the three Model 3s is the cabin noise, the interior sound, and that's something that people are going to talk about. Here's what I'll say. There is more road noise that comes through because of the 20-inch wheels. It's really apparent in like this portion of the car. Now, this is a 2021 Model 3 Performance. There are very few differences between the 21 and the 22 in terms of insulation and sound deadening materials that they used. So the cabin noise on the Model 3 Performance compared to the base model, or really any Model 3 that has the 18-inch wheels, is going to be louder. Tesla just hasn't put time into the fit and finish yet fully of these performance models. With that said though, I used to own a BMW M2 and it had 19-inch wheels with performance tires on it. So the tires come with a firmer sidewall. They're thinner. They're only like a 30 or 35 on the height of the sidewall. So these tires are meant for performance. They're not meant for comfort. So when you talk about cabin noise and things like that, this is not unique to Tesla. Now, while I think they can improve, I think it's fair to say that, hey, I think Tesla can improve on this. That's a fair statement. But you're buying a performance model. You're buying a car that does 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. That's what McLarens do. Some Lamborghinis don't do that. Like, you're buying a car for 60 grand that performs, or at least accelerates, at the level of a car that can cost 3, 4, 5 times this. So you need to understand that. Now, if you're really hyper worried about cabin noise and ride comfort, this is not the car for you. But if you're looking for a car that outperforms absolutely everything in its cost segment by far, then this is the car for you. So cabin noise, in my opinion, because of the wheels, is louder. Now, the suspension on the car, I was coming into this expecting the suspension be made of wood. It's not made of wood. But I've driven the Model 3 before, and I remember it being stiffer and firmer and just harsher. And going around town on average roads, it's actually not that bad. And again, it's the performance model. You have to constantly keep that in mind. You can't complain the performance model is too stiff because it's performance models. You have to shut up. It's really not that bad. It's softer than I remember. I think it's fairly compliant. I give them a pass there. I think it's well done. And I think, hopefully they continue to improve it. What I think Tesla needs to do to improve it, though, is just offer a 19 or 18-inch wheel with the performance models. They used to do that. It was called a stealth Model 3 Performance. That's, I think, the best option because you still get the benefit of the added range and comfort. You just don't have as aggressive tires on it, and I think that's fine because really all that does is takes away from the handling and acceleration a little bit, but most people aren't taking these cars on the track, so I think it could be really nice if Tesla offered the 18 or 19-inch wheels from the factory. With that said, you can just buy them from the aftermarket and make it comfortable and gain more range. Now, the handling of these cars is very good. The reason for that is because the battery sits really low and you're able to corner and accelerate in a way that I've never driven a car that handles like this. It doesn't look like it should. And it's so well planted, it's so well balanced, the power is immediate, and the handling is second to none. And this car also beat a GT3 RS. I think it set the track record at Buttonwillow Raceway in California, in Palm Springs. So it's fast, it can handle, and most likely compared to other cars you have owned, depending on what you have owned, this is better. Now, the part that everyone likes to talk about is the acceleration, which is nuts. And the acceleration, I've owned my Tesla Model Y now for over 2 years and 50,000 miles, and it doesn't get old. You know, they say, oh, it's a one-trick pony. That's fine if you want to say that. I get it's not as good as, you know, if you're a true enthusiast and you have an exhaust and manual transmission, and the imperfection of that and trying to perfect it over time is what makes it fun. Just having the constant acceleration and just getting on it like that, it puts a smile on my face every time. It's very fun. And also, something that's rarely considered is it's safer to have that precision on the throttle response. When you're merging on highways and getting in, you're able to get in exactly where you want to be, as opposed to waiting for a combustion engine to spool up or get into the right gear or whatever. This gets you exactly where you want to be in merging and changing lanes in traffic, and the safety of it, I think, is something that should be considered more often. Now, as I said earlier, I've partnered up with Charity Stars, and they're giving away a Model 3 Performance, and if you're in the United States and you win, they're also covering the tax on it. If you go to the link in the description, or as you can see at the bottom of your screen, you're going to get 1,000 extra entries. Or if it doesn't pop up, just use code Gjeebs. So if you donate just $10, that will give you 1,100 entries to get a car that does 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, has 480 horsepower and all-wheel drive. What's going to happen is your friends' wives will leave them for you if you win this car. I don't guarantee that. You have access to the Tesla charging network. The infotainment system will be upgraded. The car is sick. Teslas are great cars. Also, this time around, not only will your donation go to getting you a chance to win a Tesla Model 3 Performance, it will also go to the Guardian Group, which helps prevent sex trafficking of women and children all around the world. So your money goes to a good cause, all while giving you a chance to win a really cool car. So as I said, the link is in the description, and as you can see it on your screen there, charitystars.com/Gjeebs. That's charitystars.com/Gjeebs. And that will give you 1,100 entries, and that's only if you donate $10. If you donate more than that, you'll get more entries. But yeah, the car is incredible, and thank you to Charity Stars for sponsoring this video. Now back to it. Additionally, Into the AM is having their Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. Go to intotheam.com, use code Gjeebs, basic tee, and you know your boy's got the deep V on because he's got the hamburger meat underneath. So go to intotheam.com, whatever discounts they have some crazy discounts, like 80%. You can stack code Gjeebs on top, an additional 10%. Is that not beautiful? I think it's beautiful. So go to intotheam.com, use code Gjeebs, Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, you're welcome. So the performance of the Model 3 Performance is excellent. There are subtle features. It's a sleeper. A lot of people are going to go, oh, look at that Model 3, and then you remove the doors from their car as you blow by them. And I wave full as I blow by you, as Lil Wayne once said. And also, there is no other vehicle that is this fast and this efficient. These things run on 2 to 3. I wish I could say what that sign just said, but I'll get demonetized because that's just the world we live in. I need to have a segment, I need to have something behind a paywall because it could be a lot funnier. These Model 3s, Model Ys, they run on the equivalent energy of 2 to 3.5 gallons of gas. So imagine getting 300 miles of range. Now this says 315 miles of range. Good luck getting that in the real world. You're probably looking at 270 unless you're not running AC, you're going 65 miles per hour and it's flat. That's one thing about Teslas that I will say is a problem, because they can achieve the numbers that they're advertised at. The speed you would have to be going to achieve those numbers, it's not realistic. But like I said, the performance that you get from this, and also the efficiency, how little energy that you're using, is second to none. And it's endlessly fun. If you're running around, you're doing errands, you don't have to start the car, you just get in it, put your seatbelt on, I hope, and then drive away. It's so fast and exhilarating. It's truly fast. It's 3.1 seconds, 480 all-wheel drive horsepower. If you're in a snowy area, I don't recommend you using these performance tires. If you want to leave the 20s on, that's fine, but at least put on an all-season tire, maybe a Michelin asymmetric AS3 or whatever it's called. That would be what I recommend there, because these are just not meant for that type of weather. Or get a secondary wheel and tire setup. That way you're covered there. So convenient, so efficient, plenty of space on the inside. It's really hard to beat. And for the cost, I think these are $62,990. So you may be saying to yourself, that's kind of expensive. I don't know about that. Look at other cars that get this type of performance and have 4 doors. You're going to be paying more for those. This has the access to the Tesla electric charging network. This infotainment system is constantly updated. So I've been in 2017 and 2018 Model 3s. Everything's the same because the infotainment is updated. Now, the new chip that they put in the newer Model 3s and Model Ys is quicker, so you're gonna get a little bit better performance, but the resolution is the same, the upgrades, all these things, they continue to update the car, and the good thing about that is that will help the residual value of your car over time. Because if you're selling a 2022 Model 3 and it's 2025 and they haven't made any changes to the screen or any major changes to the battery, your car is going to be worth more than something like a Ford where they're changing their cars. Like, look how the Ford Escape has changed over the years. What do you think that does to the value of the old Escapes? It devalues them significantly. And Tesla, like Porsche, has an evolution over time. Look at the 2012 Model S compared to the 2022 and 2023 Model S. Very subtle changes to the exterior of the car, and that's going to help with the car's value over time. And you as a consumer, you're going to look at your car and say, oh, man, I really love this thing. I don't feel the need to buy another car, because the reason you bought this car was to save the planet, right? Not to go 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. Not to have fart mode. Not to have a fireplace to make your dates a little bit better, right? You didn't buy it for those reasons. You bought it to save turtles, dolphins, and elephants. So folks, what's my recommendation to you? Should you buy the standard range, long range, or performance? I always say that you should buy the long range because it gives you the best bang for your buck in terms of how far the car can go. But if you're gonna just be driving this around town and doing errands and you want something really fun and fast and it's not financially a mistake for you to buy something this expensive, buy the Model 3 Performance. If you're looking to squeeze yourself into a Tesla and you're not sure if you can really afford it, I recommend that you don't buy the Tesla. I recommend that you save your money until you're in a safer position and your debt is paid off. But no one is rational, right? You see something, you want it, you don't want to wait. So buy whatever you want. I think the best Tesla to buy is the Model 3 long range, simply because you get the most range out of the car and you still get great performance. And with the performance boost, you can take the 0 to 60 time from 4.2 seconds to 3.7 seconds and still get great range. So I hope that helps. Thank you, Charity Stars, for sponsoring this video. And also, if you're in the market for a Model 3, you're gonna wanna watch this video right here, which shows you how hubcaps change the efficiency of your car. Hubcaps on, hubcaps off, and various manufacturers. Check this video out right here. You'll really like it.